Welcome to another episode of our video series, Personal Transformation and Self-Knowledge. It's great to be back.
It really is. Hope you've had a good week.
I have, thanks. A productive one. Last time, we really dug into that first crucial step, didn't we? Intent, or niyat.
That's right. That internal declaration, that decision to actually begin.
But, anyone who's ever tried to change anything in their life knows that making the decision is, well, it's kind of the easy part.
It is. The moment you decide, the real world just comes rushing back in, demanding your time, your energy.
Exactly. So today, we're focusing on that next, much harder step. How do you go from a decision to actual sustained motion? We're talking about effort. Garrett.
And this is where intentions go to die, isn't it? Effort, or Garrett, is where I'd say 9 out of 10 attempts fail.
It's so true. And we should be really clear about what we mean by it. It's not some single heroic burst of energy.
No, not at all. That's a common mistake. Garrett is.
Yeah.
It's the disciplined, continuous, day in, day out application of will towards a goal.
It's about showing up.
It's about showing up when you would rather be anywhere else. If intent is the blueprint, Garrett is laying the bricks. Every single day. Even when it's raining.
Without that, significant progress in anything, learning a skill, building a business, it's just not going to happen.
We see the failure of it everywhere. That classic example, someone sees a master pianist, they're completely inspired.
Oh, yeah. They get the intent, they buy the piano.
And 2 weeks later, it's a very expensive piece of furniture gathering dust.
Right. And it's that gap, the one between the vision and the grind, that's where everything dies. So what's fascinating is looking at the drivers that are supposed to sustain this effort and why the first couple are just so fragile.
Let's start with the absolute shortest one, that initial flicker, interest.
Gergi.
Interest. Okay, so this is just a reflex, really. It's an attention response.
That's all it is. It's the easiest one to trigger, but it's also by far the easiest to extinguish.
And it comes from a very primal place, doesn't it? I mean, an evolutionary purpose. Absolutely. Your brain's primary job is to keep you alive. So it's constantly scanning for the unusual, the unexpected.
Is that a threat? Is that an opportunity?
Exactly. A lion walking into the room, a sudden noise. Your interest immediately snaps to that. It has to.
But that same hardwiring is, let's say it's being exploited today.
Mercilessly. Social media, streaming apps, they're engineered to hijack that core circuit. They don't want your sustained effort. They want your fragmented attention on the next thing.
They want you to stay interested for just a few seconds, then move on.
And it creates this interest fatigue. If your action is only based on bilgy, you'll start a dozen things and finish none of them. You'll look at the piano, but you won't pick it up a second time.
Okay, so after that initial interest fades, some people do manage to move to the next level.
They do. They get to driver 2, which is excitement. Hi, Ken.
And this feels a lot better.
Oh, it feels amazing. It's a high-dose emotional state. It's an adrenaline rush, a feeling of almost of imminent victory.
It's a huge temporary boost. But you said it has a fatal flaw.
It does. Its flaw is that it works by making us completely ignore the reality of the situation.
What do you mean?
We get so focused on the finish line, on the amazing feeling of having accomplished the goal, that we don't even look at the map. We skip all the steps in our mind.
We feel that because we want it so badly, it must be easy to get.
Precisely. And so when that person hits the first real difficulty, that first steep ramp, the first chord that's impossible to play, the excitement just vanishes.
It can't absorb the shock of reality.
It can't. The expectation of ease is shattered, and all that's left is exhaustion. And then they quit.
And this is the pivot point. This is where we see that critical shift.
Yes. The average person hits that wall and says, why is this so hard? This isn't for me.
But the person who's going to succeed asks a different question.
A completely different question. They ask, okay, how do I overcome this? And, more importantly, what skill do I need to gain right now to get past this point?
And that question is powered by the third driver.
The third, and the first truly sustainable one, motivation and perseverance, or azim.
So motivation. This is the deep internal anchor.
Yeah.
This is your why.
This is your why. It has to be connected to a purpose, to a personal story. It's the answer to the question, why am I putting myself through this pain?
So while interest is a distraction and excitement is a quick high, Motivation is about who you are trying to become.
Exactly. It's about self-definition. And when you have that, something incredible happens to your perception of obstacles.
They stop being roadblocks.
Blocks stop being roadblocks, and they transform into, the source calls it a balsamic, a step, a stepping stone.
So every challenge you overcome actually elevates you. It's not just pushing through, it's leveling up.
It is. Your whole operating system gets an upgrade. Azim is the engine that lets you be slowed down by friction, but you're never truly stopped.
But even a powerful engine needs a chassis, right? The structure to hold it.
It does. Motivation gives you the why, but you still need the how. And the how is discipline.
The bridge that turns that potential into actual sustainable work.
Yes. Discipline is just ritualized effort. It's making the choice once ahead of time so you don't have to rely on how you feel in the moment.
It's the decision to sit at that piano for 1 hour every day at the same time, no matter what.
No matter what. And the power of that is, it's truly developmental. After just 1 month of that ritual, the results are shocking. Your fingers are more nimble, the sound is clearer.
And a funny thing happens, doesn't it? Some of the old obstacles just disappear.
Because your skill level has surpassed them. Discipline doesn't just get the work done, it makes the future work easier by making you better.
So that's the foundation.
Yeah.
Motivation and discipline. But the source mentions a fourth force, something almost mythical.
It does. Driver 4, the force of love, Ashkit.
And this is the ultimate accelerator.
It is. And it's mysterious. You can't really prescribe it or teach it. It's a singular, all-consuming commitment to a vision or a mission.
It's the kind of force that makes a person stop everything else in their life and dedicate their entire being, mind, heart, everything to this one thing.
Right. With this, you don't even need discipline in the same way because the work itself is the reward. The effort is the fulfillment.
We should be clear. This isn't just romantic love.
No. This is a profound, passionate commitment that provides essentially unlimited effort. People who operate on this level, they achieve things that surprise even themselves. They reshape entire fields.
Because their commitment is just total. They're guided by an internal fire that can't be put out. Failure isn't a reason to quit. It's just a data point on a path they have to follow.
That's the engine behind truly world-changing work.
So for you listening, the key here is to figure out where your own effort is breaking down. Are you stuck in that cycle of fleeting interest?
Or are you riding that wave of excitement and then crashing when it meets reality? The path forward is building real, purposeful motivation and then locking it in with discipline.
And all of that sustained effort, that Garrett, every single step, every balsamic you climb, it's all preparation.
It's making sure that when your moment comes, when that opportunity for the great leap arrives, you're actually ready for it.
You have the skill, the resilience, to actually make the move.
And this journey doesn't stop here. The next step the source talks about is courage.
So here's the thought to leave you with. If it takes interest, excitement, motivation, discipline, and maybe even that all-consuming force of love just to master continuous effort, ask yourself this. What kind of monumental challenge in your life would require the combined force of all of those things to finally overcome? What is the great leap that's waiting for your courage?
A powerful question to carry with you. Until next time.